Cabinet meets with the Dominican Diaspora for the 5th year. We'll bring you scenes from Youth Rally 2015 and the OECS considers healthcare financing as a region. Thank you for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna, Hector.
And I'm Kerdisha. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after the break.
Thanks for staying with us. Dominicans living in the diaspora were praised for their efforts to raise aid for the country in the wake of Tropical Storm Erica. As is customary each year, the Labour Party administration calls a special meeting with overseas-based Dominicans. It's an opportunity for them to hear firsthand the reports of the country's progress and to dialogue with government about development plans. This year, the atmosphere was a bit different as the effects of the August 27 storm still linger. Diasporans heard from the Honorable Acting Prime Minister Rayburn Blackmore, the Honorable Minister for Tourism Senator Robert Tong, the Honorable Minister for Planning, Economic Development and Investment Dr. John Colin McIntyre, and Coordinator of Diaspora Affairs Athenia Benjamin. The Honorable Acting Prime Minister said the stage was well set for Dominica to realize further progress. However, the passing of the storm has posed challenges.
The theme that we have selected for our 47th anniversary of independence, Rebuilding Dominica Together, speaks to the challenge we face and the work that is expected of all of us. Our intention is not just to rebuild, but to build a better and more prosperous Dominica for all. You may have heard that the damage and losses inflicted by this monster storm amounts to approximately $1.3 billion Eastern Caribbean currency. Over that period of rebuilding, we'll have to mobilize not just the quantum of financing, but also the technical and human resources that are not available in this beautiful country, Dominica.
Honorable Blackmore requested that those in the diaspora consider providing their technical expertise in the effort to rebuild a stronger Dominica. Coordinator of Diaspora Affairs Athenia Benjamin lauded the efforts of Dominicans abroad in mobilizing resources to assist the country and encourage them to continue.
Rebuilding Dominica is an inclusive undertaking, so Dominicans at home and abroad should all get involved. Immediately after the destruction of Tropical Storm Erica, Dominicans in the diaspora responded with a massive outpouring of solidarity and tangible support to their fellow man. Your eagerness to mobilize large relief drive swiftly was remarkable. This is a true indication of patriotism and Dominican pride. This Dominica Labour Party government always recognizes and appreciates the value and contribution that our overseas nationals continue to make to the land of their birth. The benefit concerts you hosted and continue to host, raising funds to help. Your connections with regional and international media help to draw attention of the world to the situation in Dominica. When local independence activities were curtailed due to the destruction, you in the diaspora intensified your celebration of our independence, hosting galas, pageants, and other cultural activities. I encourage you to maintain this positive display of patriotism and Dominican pride.
Honorable McIntyre reported on the effects of the storm on housing. He stressed government's commitments to rebuild better and stronger.
When we go through the various villages that have been hardest hit by Tropical Storm Erica, we must ask ourselves, how could all that damage take place and in such a short space of time? Certainly for us, in the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Water Resource Management, this has highlighted the need for us to pay attention to several things. Area that should not be demarcated for building, especially residential. The need for us to revisit our building codes and pay attention to flood paths, etc. The need for us to build stronger and better homes that conform to industry standards and best practices.
Rebuilding Dominica better and stronger. We've been hearing a lot of that since Tropical Storm Erica. And what we've also been hearing a lot of is the Dominican Diaspora and how the Dominican Diaspora can contribute to that rebuilding effort.
That's right.
What that means really is the Dominicans who live overseas, overseas-based Dominicans. And that community is actually quite large. It's estimated to be at least twice that of the resident population. So that's about 160,000 people.
Right, I don't think people knew that the diaspora residency is so large. As a matter of fact, they have significantly contributed to alleviating poverty in Dominica via remittances, which is basically sending items or resources or whatnot to their relatives in Dominica, which plays a large part in supporting the economy right now.
That's true. Diaspora remittances contribute to about 10% of Dominica's gross domestic product, and it also contributes to the amount of foreign exchange that we have moving around in the economy.
And I think that people don't really grasp the enormity of how important the diaspora are, because as a matter of fact, we even have a diaspora unit which is located within the Ministry of Trade, and what they basically do is communicate with the diaspora to see how they can better, provide resources and critical help and aid to Dominica.
The government has gone as far as preparing a diaspora policy which governs how we communicate and how we use the diaspora going forward to grow our country.
That's right. And the policy, as a matter of fact, deals with a lot of different areas, such as investing in agriculture, investing in land, within the different business sectors, investing in different businesses. Even though you are a diaspora, you are overseas, you can still contribute to Dominica's economy, injecting money into the cash flow of the country.
And that's something the Honorable Prime Minister has always maintained, that even if some Dominicans don't live here, they still have a stake in Dominica's development, and there are ways that they can contribute to Dominica's development. And I'm thinking specifically of the issue of brain drain, which is something that has always affected the Caribbean region, including Dominica. This is what happens when valuable skills, knowledge, expertise leave for a better life elsewhere.
And what the government has always pressed on is those skilled professionals, as you said, contributing to Dominica, whether it be through volunteerism, in providing a skill that they have studied for so long for and developed to us locally in Dominica.
Right. So at this time, when we talk about rebuilding Dominica better and stronger, it's very important that we note the importance of the diaspora in that regard.
Moving on, rebuilding Dominica together, the theme for the National Independence Youth Rally on Monday. Students from across the island gathered at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium to take part in one of the hallmark events of the independence season. The evidence of the country's need to focus on rebuilding was seen and heard in the words of the speakers as well as the group displays. The Honorable Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Peter Seja, says the education sector will bounce back.
On the eve of August 27th, 2015, we were on the mountaintop. Before the first raindrop of Tropical Storm Erica started falling, before the first gully broke its banks, we had not just seen, but through the efforts of the Dominica Labour Party, we had entered the promised land. 100% access in education, zero gaps at the primary level and at the secondary level. This is every boy and every girl, the dream of access. Every boy from the community of Wetica and every boy and girl from the village of Petit Savan, every boy and girl across this beautiful country had a place in a primary school, had a place in a secondary school, no matter what. We know where we have been, and we know where we are going.
Youth Speaker Glenson Prince called on all to lend a hand to rebuild the nation.
The hope is that we will do it together. Though it may seem to be an incredulous task, with teamwork, I believe anything is possible. The old saying, many hands make light work, continues to ring true. Tropical storm Erica affected some areas more severely than others. For instance, Portsmouth, where I come from, was relatively unscathed in relation to places such as Petit Savan, Coolibistri, Polio, and Dubic. Should we, the people of Portsmouth, lend a helping hand to our fellow brothers and sisters from those and other communities? Absolutely. Now is the time to put aside our differences as we rebuild Dominica together, uniting as a people, a powerful people, a people who know no limits, a people with a sense of pride, determination, and most importantly, a people who are God-fearing. For with God, all things are possible.
Students were awarded for their excellence in education. O'Neill Leblanc, Deslin Vidal, and Chase Lawrence for their achievements at the A-level examinations. The Ministry of Education announced for the first time the top CSEC students for 2015 at the event.
In first place, we have Marisol M. John from the Convent High School, 10 grade 1s. In second place, we have Kyle J. Charles of the Dominica Grammar School, 10 grade 1s and 1 grade 3. Third place, Francine C. Julius, the Convent High School, 10 grade 1s.
Monday's rally included a number of cultural displays as well as the traditional march past, with the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt receiving the salute.
Now we have the Viejas Primary School, the primary school of the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt.
We can understand why his smile just got bigger.
Bright yellow and blue. Wow, something special for the Honorable Prime Minister. Good job, Viejas Primary School.
Put your hands together for Viejas Primary School.
St. John's Academy. Also a very new high school. And their Latin motto translates to
Committed to Excellence.
Very special presentation by the Key Club.
The Portsmouth Secondary School.
Using the opportunity to teach young people about service. They're in the blue and white shirts and grey skirts.
Led by Sensei Shanna Robin.
And Shanna Robin was awarded a special award last year at the National Independence Celebration for his work with the young people. Purple Dragon doing great things, and here they go. Discipline for young men and young women. Wow, wow, look at them go.
A regional insurance scheme to benefit OECS nationals was at the top of the agenda of a recent meeting of Ministers of Health of the OECS region held in St. Kitts. The meeting also discussed regional organization Pharmaceutical Procurement Service, which is in its 30th year of existence. At a press conference on Thursday, the Honorable Minister for Health, Dr. Kenneth Daru, said OECS regional health ministers have agreed that a similar approach to healthcare financing would benefit citizens of the OECS.
This is a prime example of how sub-regional cooperation can benefit the individual and respective member states. It's called pool procurements because what happened, this I think is being managed by the Caribbean Development Bank, where respective countries make their contributions to the bank, and then at central level the PPS, they procure what they call generic drugs for the respective countries. They started, I said, 30 years ago with probably an inventory of probably 50 or so drugs and medical supplies. Right now I've been told they're into the hundreds, I think a few hundreds right now, medication.
Regional heads of government are expected to meet in November 2015. Honorable Daru says, along with the Health Minister of St. Lucia, he has been identified as a leader in the drafting of a document to present the case for a regional insurance scheme. The Health Minister says he believes this concept is more sustainable than the multiple assistance programs which government has put in place to assist citizens to receive medical attention.
Because what every country, not just Dominica, have been lamenting the issue of healthcare financing and the availability, how available is at least, I wouldn't say optimal, at least standard healthcare for all our citizens. Clearly, as a government, we've tried our best to see how we can assist through various agencies, the public support program, social services, even the Ministry of Health. Sometimes we would have funds available under certain accounting heads to assist people, especially those seeking services that are not available here in Dominica. But how sustainable has this been? And if I may to be frank, it hasn't been very sustainable, very effective. So we think that a lot of these monies, if we tally up the monies and the resources that we're using under these various programs to assist our people, and they are pooled in a way like what the pharmaceutical procurement services has been operating, we think that we can invest in some insurance scheme that will be valid for all our OECS citizens.
The establishment of centers of excellence across the region is also a concept which is being closely looked at. Honorable Daru says Antigua has led the way in establishing a cancer center. He said it was discussed at that meeting that each island consider an area of medicine and construct their own centers of excellence.
And given our small populations, that it doesn't make any economic prudence, any economic sense, any financial sense for any one administration to invest in centers of all the different specialties. So why don't each island, so I can select a particular service, like Antigua has, as I said, have led the way and set up a cancer center. And setting up this national health insurance, or even an insurance at the sub-regional level, that with a mere flashing of a card, you would be able to for example, source the service of the center cancer in Antigua. Dominica could choose, for example, nephrology. I'm just saying another island choose cardiology. So instead of having each of these centers, invest in each of these centers with limited, as I said, population, that why don't we invest in the center of excellence of a particular specialty in each island? And this is something that we think should really be imprinted again at the heads of curriculum level next month.
You're watching National Focus. Coming up, Convent Prep gets renovation assistance.
Introducing the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app, available for download from the Google Play Store, One Mobile Market, and the Government of Dominica's website. Access to all ministries and sub-departments' phone, email and office addresses and websites. Simply select a ministry and the sub-department. You can dial directly from the app or save the numbers to your phone contacts. It's convenience at your fingertips.
Is my passport ready for pickup? Good. It really works.
Download the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app today.
Welcome back. Honorable Minister for Health Dr. Kenneth Daru has reported that the outbreak of gastroenteritis following Tropical Storm Erica has subsided. The lack of access to potable water following the storm was one of the main causes of the outbreak. The interventions of the Ministry of Health and the distribution of bottled water has helped to reduce the number of reported cases.
90 to 95% of the Wasco water system was affected by Tropical Storm Erika, and immediately the week or so, 2 weeks post Erika, that we would have at certain communities we would not have access to potable water. So, of course, the residents with the health information unit, the Ministry of Health moving very quickly, the local health team at the district level, the community level moving very quickly to step up the education level. So people were, I think, drinking water straight from the rivers, etc. And of course, we know the dangers that dispose. We also stepped in very quickly to ensure that bottled water bottled water was directed to these communities, and we've since then seen a drop in the case of gastroenteritis. Most of them were treated ambulatory treatment, meaning that they probably showed up at a health facility, probably IV given and sent home. We had I think 5 or 6, from what I recall, the last figure admissions. Usually the very small infants and the elderly people would be more vulnerable, more susceptible because of their whole body composition.
Gastroenteritis is an inflammation or irritation of the lining of the stomach. It's sometimes referred to as a stomach flu.
Convent Prep is the recipient of a $10,000 donation from My Destination Dominica. My Destination Dominica is a non-profit organization founded by the Honorable Senator Robert Tong, who is Minister for Tourism and Urban Renewal, and his wife, Dr. Gilda Nesty Tong. The donation will go towards renovation at the school, which was damaged by Tropical Storm Erika. On Friday, the Honorable Minister and his wife made the presentation.
My Destination Dominica is a non-profit organization that was formed in the USA to help promote Dominica, and the intention was to have a big showcase when we had Labor Day in Dominica, in the USA. But as a result of the storm, we had to change the concept, and we use it as a way of creating donations for Dominica. So we went out to Dominicans and also people who are not Dominicans to help us in our recovery efforts. One of the schools I went to was called Macademy. It's a school just like yours with young students just like you, and the students themselves raised 500 US, and they gave me a check to also bring back to Dominica. So on behalf of my wife and myself, who formed this non-governmental organization or charity, we would like to present to the Convent Prep a check for 10,000 EC dollars to help to go towards the restoration of the works that you had, the damages that you had at the back of your school.
Principal Adeline Detouche detailed the project.
When Tropical Storm Erika hit the island, there's a wall at the back collapsed on one of the classrooms. And this, of course, incurred a lot of damage to both the sewage line plus the water line. And this, of course, hindered us from opening school on time. I'm not able yet to pay for the rebuilding of the wall because I don't have any money. I did not explain that to the senator. But however, as a parent, he's aware of what's happening at his school. And so, he took it upon himself to look for funds for us. And today, that 10,000 EC dollars, which he has presented to the school, will go a long way in paying for the wall being built back.
With free Wi-Fi now available at the Botanic Gardens, students now have a place to access the information needed in order to make their workload lighter. The next step is to have more areas like this across the island. That is according to the Honorable Minister for Education, Peter Seja.
What I would like to see, though, and of course what we anticipate in the future, is that what has been done here today can be replicated in different areas, maybe districts of Dominica, so that it is not only available to the students in the Roseau area or the students from the out district who come into Roseau for a particular time, but that we would have access nationally around the island.
The minister says this move is part of government's drive to help students empower themselves and ultimately contribute to their country's growth through education.
But for us in education, these are exciting times. These are times when our students should understand that what we are affording them now is the opportunity to ensure that they can do well, they can succeed, and that they do not have to depend on a classroom teacher, but that they can use those pieces and the access that we are made available to them to educate themselves.
The Ministry of Education is hoping for an improved student populace.
Ultimately, what we expect to see with all of the initiatives that are now being launched by the government is that there will be an improvement, first of all, in the performance of individual students, and that will redound to overall improvement at our school facilities.
Many schools, including the Newtown Primary, held special assemblies on Creole Day last Friday. However, for the students of the Newtown Primary, there was a twist as they were joined by students of the Petit Savan Primary, as both schools have been temporarily relocated to the former Teachers College in Bath Estate. Principal of the Petit Savan Primary School, Oliver Samuel, described past Creole Days in their community.
Being in a different environment in itself is one aspect of the difference. Our Creole Day in Petit Savan would normally be observed on the first day before, that is the 29th. And on that day, we normally have our big cook-up. Students will, of course, all be dressed as they were today in their traditional wear. And we would be having a number of different activities, dances. We just had one today. And of course, we would have each class in the school, beginning with grade K to grade 6, would put on a class performance. And after this, we would have some joint performances. Normally, we'd also invite the cultural group of Petit Savan, and they would give us some of the traditional dances and participate with the students. Parents would be happy, would be there, preparing the meals, refreshment, and would be having a ball.
He notes, however, this year, although different, is one which will be remembered.
This year, joining with Newtown, I think it went well. I believe that the students, they were reminded of what happened at school. At least being dressed in their traditional wear today was something good for them. And helping with Newtown and seeing what other schools do, and that was good, a good experience for them.
Teacher at the Newtown Primary, Grace Henderson, who organized the Creole Day event, says the idea behind the festivities was to make the students feel at home.
I thought that it would be a good gesture for the schools to interact with each other after all of those bad times, we might call it. So the children had the opportunity to mingle and feel at home, although they are not at their school. So they got that warmth today.
And that's the English news. Coming up next, a tip to make you smarter.
Drinking 2 glasses of water within half an hour of waking up can make you smarter. Since you've been asleep for hours, your body has not gotten water for 6 to 9 hours. Water is needed for the filtration of waste products and fluid balance.
2 tall glasses of water offset the fluid deficit you had from sleeping. Studies on kids show that drinking more water increases their ability to complete mental tasks. Make sure your brain is not dehydrated at the beginning of the day already.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Desk, I'm Jarna, Hector.
And I'm Kerdisha. Thanks for watching, and join us again next time on National Focus.